The wrist snapped like a dry branch under her fingers, and for a moment, everything fell silent. No shouting, no footsteps, no hesitation. Only the wet crack of bone, echoing between steel shipping containers under the desert moon. Lieutenant Anna Sharma, call sign Nix, didn't blink. The Marine in her grip collapsed, breath crushed into pain-broken gasps. His knife hit the gravel with a metallic tremble, still vibrating from the sudden absence of his courage. His friend was unconscious on the ground behind her. A third froze in a half-step, torn between loyalty and fear, eyes wide at the reality none of them had expected. Three of them, one of her. Yet in that moment she looked like the hunter, and they the prey. Her breaths came slow, controlled, like she was counting seconds, like she had planned this. But she hadn't. She didn't need to. Training had burned itself into instinct long before any of them ever knew her name. Years of becoming unbreakable had turned reaction into choreography, and she was dancing, alone in the dark. Not angry, not triumphant. Just efficient. The wind carried dust across the narrow lane between containers, scraping softly against metal like old bones whispering. Her knuckles were raw, blood beading along a scraped forearm, yet she looked untouched, composed, as if violence was no more emotional to her than cleaning a weapon. She held the moment still, scanning the ground, watching the injured Marine curl around his broken wrist, keeping him alive, not punishing him further. Necessary, nothing more. Far off, the base generator hummed, that constant heartbeat of the forward operating base. Fob Archer wasn't home, but it was the closest thing she had. Canvas tents, steel walls, dust in the lungs, people learned to breathe purpose here, or drown trying. She had arrived 3 weeks ago, the first female SEAL attached to this particular DEVGRU task unit. To many, she was an anomaly. To some, a threat. To others, a rumor that shouldn't exist. But rumors don't do pull-ups at dawn. Rumors don't fire sub-MOA groups at 800 meters. Rumors don't walk with the calm weight of someone who has killed and learned to live with it. Anna walked like that. Quiet, precise, observed. The Marines attached as base security watched her with unease, especially Sergeant Cole, broad-shouldered, loud laughing, the kind of man whose respect could be earned only by force or humiliation. His glances lingered too long. His whispers slithered through the gym. Standards must be slipping, he'd say, never to her face, always loud enough for her to hear. She didn't respond. She simply lifted heavier, ran farther, shot tighter. She believed silence could build walls stronger than words, but she also knew silence could be mistaken for weakness, and men like Cole thrived on such mistakes. One afternoon in the armory, Master Chief Vance, her senior, a man of scars and secrets, paused by her bench, picking up the bolt carrier group she had meticulously cleaned. "The M4 is unforgiving," he said, voice low like gravel shifting. "It rewards discipline, punishes complacency." His eyes flicked upward, meeting hers. "Yours is immaculate." A rare compliment, small but it mattered. Validation not of gender but competence. She nodded once, a soldier's thank you, the kind carried not in words but in effort. At chow that evening, Cole sat nearby with his shadows, Diaz and Roar, boys still growing into uniforms older than their character. They talked loud, laughed louder. Roar stabbed his fork at the air. "I don't get it. A woman, DVGRU, next we'll have pink rifles." Cole smirked, slow and venomous. "The world corrects itself, one way or another." Anna finished her meal without reaction. Eyes forward, back straight. She could take insults. She'd taken worse from instructors who didn't believe a woman could survive but there was a tone beneath Cole's words, not just resentment but hunger. Desire to restore some imagined order, and that made him a threat. She logged it away silently. She didn't fear conflict, but she always planned for it. Sabotage came next. At the range her optic was twisted off zero, windage maxed, elevation cranked. In combat, a mistake like that could cost lives. Someone wanted her to fail, to lose composure, to react. She didn't. She reset, re-zeroed, put 3 rounds touching dead center at 200 meters. A range NCO watched, saying nothing, but nodding with chin slightly raised, soldier speak meaning I see you. Whispers grew, respect didn't, not yet. Then combatives training arrived, forced joint session to build cohesion. Though everyone knew it was pressure testing fire against gasoline, Vance instructed calm and cold. Violence isn't a tournament, no points, no trophies, only physics solving biological problems. Cole stepped forward to demonstrate a pistol grab. Vance dropped him effortlessly, one wrist lock, one knee, Marine humbled on the mat. The room held breath. Now Cole wanted it back. When Vance called for a volunteer for the next demonstration, no Marine moved. Pride froze them. Fear anchored them, but Vance's eyes chose for them. Lieutenant, step up. Anna walked onto the mat like walking into morning PT. No swagger, no fear, just inevitability. Cole looked between her and Vance, half amused, half offended. You're kidding her. Take her down, Vance said evenly. Do not be gentle. Cole grinned like a wolf before a limp deer. He lunged, arm wrapping her neck, squeezing hard. He expected panic, thrashing, strength against strength. She gave him none. She dropped weight, base stable. One hand framed his hip, the other hooked behind his knee. In one fluid motion, leverage replaced muscle and the larger man became weightless. Feet left mat. His back slammed flat. Air exploded from lungs. Before he understood gravity's betrayal, she secured position, knee to sternum, arm isolated, submission poised to tear. A moment held still. Then Vance, release. Anna disengaged and stood calm, like the demonstration meant nothing, like humiliation was simply instruction. Silence suffocated the room. Eyes widened, fear, shock, respect, all fighting for space. Cole burned with red fury, humiliation searing deeper than pain. And humiliation is a dangerous seed in the wrong heart. That night, whiskey loosened restraint behind the motor pool. Cole's anger fermented into something uglier. She made us look like fools, he slurred. We'll fix it, Diaz encouraged. Young roar followed. Miller hesitated, reluctant but afraid to dissent. They planned to corner her on the path from Calm's watch. Intimidation, theft, a knife she carried, gift from her father. They wanted to take that, break her spirit, restore their pride. They didn't come to kill her, not intentionally. But ego makes men blind, and darkness makes blind men helpless. At 1:05 she walked alone, cool night, stretching after long calm shift, the path dim, familiar, too familiar. Then generator died. Darkness swallowed the world. No hum, no lights, no witness. Boot scuff, harsh whisper, the scent of whiskey on moving silhouettes. They hunted her. But darkness was her domain. They weren't hunters, they were targets. Inside her chest, not fear but a stillness, a switch flipping, training becoming instinct. She moved into shadow, melted, breath slow. And the night belonged to her. Somewhere in front of her, a Marine whispered, "Where'd she go?" The dust storm rolled in, faint at first, then rising like ghostly surf across the base. Sand swept past her boots, erasing footprints almost as fast as they formed. The dark became thick, like ink drawn across the sky. Perfect cover, perfect chaos. Cole's voice came low, angry, confident in numbers he no longer truly had. Spread out, she's just one woman. He still didn't understand. They had planned for light and found darkness. They had expected fear and found silence. They wanted control and lost it the second the generator died. Anna slid into the gap between two containers, letting their cold steel walls swallow her presence. She controlled her breathing until even her heartbeat felt quieter. The storm masked footsteps. The wind carried whispers like secrets. Fear whispered back. Roar wandered left, too far from the others, blade shaky in his hand. The youngest, the most unsure, the one who still had good in him, buried but not gone. She didn't hate him. She didn't even need to hurt him. Just remove him from the equation. She moved behind him like a shadow, choosing where to be. No flashlight, no noise. Her fingers closed around his mouth before panic could escape it. Her forearm slid across his carotids, not crushing, just limiting blood flow. A chokehold executed with clinical calm. His body fought, then slowed, then fell quiet. She lowered him gently to the ground, unharmed, breathing, alive. One threat removed with mercy, not malice. But mercy is seen only by those who look, and no one here was looking for goodness. Diaz called softly, tension cracking his voice. Roar, hey, sound off. Instead of responding, Anna picked up a pebble and tossed it into a metal drum 20 feet away. It clanged loud under the storm's howl like a shout in a church. Diaz moved toward the sound, knife trembling. He wanted bravery, wanted to seem loyal, wanted Cole to call him strong. Poor boy. Anna moved sideways, low and silent, closing distance as he stared toward the drum. When she struck, she didn't aim to kill, she aimed to end the fight. A palm strike to his knee, tendon strained, bone snapped sideways. Diaz screamed, high and sharp, dropping like sand collapsing under weight. One arm went numb as she pinched the brachial plexus. The knife slipped from his hand. Two down, two breathing, two broken only enough to stop them. That was restraint, that was control. But darkness rarely tells such truths fairly. Miller, hesitant from the beginning, froze. He didn't run, didn't attack. He simply stared into the dark, whispering a quivering prayer to air too dry to hear him. Cole, on the other hand, charged like fury incarnate. Heavy boots pounded gravel. Breath came thick with whiskey and ego. Moonlight flickered through clouds just long enough for Anna to see the flash of steel in his right hand and the hate in his eyes. He lunged for her throat. She stepped forward instead of back, closed distance, turned his strength inward. Her forearm met his wrist with a jolt of bone. Her knife pommel rammed into his ribs, precise, efficient, punishing without being lethal. He grunted, stumbling. The fight changed. In close quarters, skill beats size. Control beats chaos. Discipline beats rage. He swung wild. She rolled with it. His fist scraped past her cheek, painful but survivable. She countered with palm to nose, elbow to jaw, pivot to break stance. He staggered, bleeding from nostrils, fury brighter than pain. His weight slammed her against steel. Metal shook. Air punched from her lungs. His hand clamped her throat, squeezing, desperate, sloppy. The world shrank to the pressure at her windpipe, the grit of sand on her tongue, the hot stink of whiskey on his breath. She could have panicked. Many would have. But she knew one truth: panic wastes oxygen. Calm buys time. So she went still, a trap disguised as weakness. As Cole leaned harder, drunk on the illusion of victory, she shifted her grip. One wrist trapped, one motion prepped, a bridge of hips, body turning into lever. His momentum became his downfall. The crack was wet, sharp, final. His scream tore through the storm like a flare in night. He hit the dirt, wrist bent at a horrifying angle, knife clattered away. He tried to stand, but agony drove him to his knees. Blood dripped from his nose. Humiliation burned hotter than pain. He looked up at her like she was something otherworldly, a spirit built from shadow and discipline. Then floodlights snapped back on. White light washed the carnage. Diaz cradling a ruined knee, Roar unconscious, Miller pale, hands raised in surrender, Cole howling, broken and beaten by the woman he mocked. And Anna standing tall, chest rising calm. A single cut on her cheek. No glory on her face, no triumph. Only stillness. Like a storm had passed through her, not from her. Base MPs came rushing with rifles raised, expecting insurgents or breach. What they found instead was the harsh result of pride meeting skill. Master Chief Vance arrived with them, silent as the desert. His eyes took in everything: angles, injuries, weapons on ground, Anna standing with hands visible, composed, not defensive. A nod between warriors, small, heavy. Not approval, acknowledgement. Interrogations followed. Separate rooms, cold lights, legal voices. Miller cracked first, tears streaking dirt, guilt tasting like copper. They wanted to take her knife, he said, voice trembling. Cole, he just wanted to break her. Diaz and Roar folded next, fear overpowering loyalty. Cole tried to lie, but medical reports told truth. Injuries were controlled, non-lethal, precise. Anna's report was short, dry fact. They presented threat, I neutralized threat. No anger, no dramatics. Just truth delivered like a clean trigger press. Consequences came fast. Cole, Diaz, Roar charged, removed, careers over. Miller recommended for reassignment. Fear had saved him more than courage ever could. Whispers spread through base halls like wildfire, but tone had changed. Mockery died. Respect grew and myth began. Marines whispered new words in Chow line, voices half-hushed in awe. Nyx, goddess of the night. Not insult, not doubt, a title earned by grit and shadow. Still, Anna didn't walk prouder, didn't smile more, didn't celebrate, because she knew something most didn't: respect won by violence never sits clean in the heart. 2 days later, she sat behind armory cleaning her rifle again. Routine was her sanctuary. Metal parts glinted under sun. Click, slide, snap, precision like prayer. Vance approached with 2 water bottles, handed her one. You know, he said, voice slow, steady, strength is easy, restraint is rare. She looked at her hands, tools of destruction and protection both. I didn't enjoy hurting them, she said quietly. I know, Vance replied. That's why you deserve to win. He left her alone with desert wind, drone humming miles overhead. Life on base went back to rhythm, routines washing over trauma like waves smoothing footprints. But peace never stays long in war zones. Inside operations tent, a new file waited. Mission briefing. Urgent orders. A name she recognized, a threat she thought long gone. And somewhere deep, something moved in her chest. Not fear, not excitement, but a quiet dread mixed with purpose, like a past returning with teeth. There was something she hadn't told anyone. Not even Vance. Not yet. Why did she hesitate when she saw the mission file? That question alone could crack steel if someone stared long enough. Her hand remained over the folder on the table, fingertips resting on the edge of the manila paper like it might burn her. It didn't, but memory did. Others saw only orders. She saw a ghost. Vance noticed, he always noticed. You good, Lieutenant? He asked without looking up from his mug of bitter coffee. Anna nodded once too quickly. A soldier's lie, small and professional. Yes, Master Chief, good to go. He didn't press. Vance never pressed. He believed in giving people time to face their own shadows because force only made them dig deeper. But the shadow inside her stirred. Inside the folder lay satellite images, intel summaries, grainy drone footage of a compound dug into a mountainside like a wound. The objective: recover a kidnapped intelligence asset, codename Whisper. Rumors said Whisper had information that could disrupt enemy networks across 2 borders. High value, high risk. And in the briefing notes, a name printed in red: Farid Kadir. Her stomach tightened, breath thinned for a heartbeat. A name like a bullet she never saw coming. A name she thought she'd buried years ago in a place she tried not to dream of. Farid Kadir, warlord trafficker, architect of pain behind closed doors. The last time she crossed paths with him, she left with blood on her uniform that wasn't hers, and a girl's face burned into memory like a brand. A girl she failed to save. Anna closed the file gently, too gently, as if loud movement might wake memories better left sleeping. Why did fate bring him back now? Why when she had just earned respect instead of toleration? Why when she finally felt capable of breathing, without proving herself with every step? Because war didn't care about timing. And ghosts always return when the night is quiet. Mission planning began at 1600 hours. The tent felt colder than desert air outside. Whiteboards crowded with timelines, laser pointers sweeping over routes, officers speaking in clipped tones. She stood among them, the only woman in the room, but no longer unseen. Sharma Nix was now a name people said with caution, not contempt. Captain Arrington led briefing, voice sharp as broken glass. Objective is extraction, silent entry, zero collateral. We get whisper out, we get out clean. Lieutenant Sharma, infiltration route. Eyes turned toward her. She felt none of the earlier doubt, only the weight of responsibility. She stepped forward, projecting satellite overlay. We insert via Ridge Line Bravo. Thermal shows guard rotation every 7 minutes. If we breach during shift change, we bypass main patrol. Wind direction favors suppressed fire. Sandstorms expected, visibility low but advantageous for us. Confidence wasn't loud, it was measured. She spoke with calm authority, not to impress, but because lives depended on clarity. Vance nodded. Who leads infiltration team? Arrington didn't hesitate. Nix, she takes point. No whisper of objection. Not one. Respect earned the hard way, shifts rooms like gravity. But behind that composed exterior, something pulsed in her chest. Not fear of mission, fear of what seeing Farid Kadir might tear open inside her. The face of that young girl flickered in memory, dark eyes wide, small fingers clutching Anna's hand as bullets tore walls around them. Anna promised to come back for her. She never did. Some wounds bleed without ever breaking skin. Night before mission, she sat on her bunk, cleaning her father's knife, the one Cole tried to steal. Handle worn smooth by years, edge sharp enough to shave breath from air. He gave it to her 3 days before he deployed for his final time. He never came home. He told her something she carried like armor. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Beta. It's walking into the fire anyway, knowing you might not return. She ran a thumb along blade, not for comfort, for grounding. Outside, laughter drifted from wrecked tent, cards slapping table, boots crunching gravel, normal life in an abnormal world. She was part of it and separate from it. Warriors often are. Miller approached slowly, boots scuffing dirt. He stopped at her door, hands clasped behind back like standing before judge. He looked younger than she remembered, guilt carving boyish worry into features. Lieutenant, his voice cracked. I'm sorry. Anna looked up calm, no anger, no bitterness. For what you did, she asked softly, or for what you almost did? Miller swallowed, both. She didn't offer forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't given like candy, it's earned. But she offered something else, something he didn't expect. You chose to surrender, she said. That matters more than how you started. Relief shuddered through him, like release of breath held too long. If you ever find yourself choosing between ego and integrity, she added, choose the one you can live with the morning after. He nodded, eyes glassy, then left, carrying weight lighter than before. Dawn came like steel, cold, sharp, inevitable. Choppers waited, rotors dormant but ready to bite air. The desert horizon glowed with ghost light before sunrise, coloring sand like old parchment. Operators geared up, magazines checked, NVGs calibrated, radios secured. Anna felt calm slip over her like a second skin. Mission focus narrowed vision. Heartbeat slowed, breathing measured. She was made for nights like this, even if memories inside her trembled like thin glass. Before boarding, Vance approached. "No heroics," he warned. She nodded. "And if Kadir is there?" she asked. Vance's eyes sharpened, searching face he knew too well. "You're here to extract Whisper," he said, "not settle old ghosts." But ghosts don't ask permission. She boarded Hello with Team 5 Shadows strapped in by steel and discipline. Engines roared, dust lifted, wind blasted, and ground fell away like past fatting yet not gone. Once airborne, silence ruled except for radio hum and rotor thunder. She closed her eyes briefly. Why this mission? Why him? Why now? Maybe fate didn't want her to heal. Maybe fate wanted her to finish what she began. Ridge insertion went smooth. Boots hit sand soundless. Night goggles tinted world green, shapes moving, shadows stretching long. Anna led them down slope, slow and deliberate, scanning arcs, marking patterns of patrol. Storm clouds thickened, wind rising. A good night for ghosts. Compound loomed ahead, walls of clay and concrete under moon half hidden by dust. Guards atop towers. A generator humming sickly. Rusted trucks outside like dying beasts. Inside that maze, a hostage. And maybe the man who taught her what failure tasted like. Her fist signaled halt. Movement near eastern wall. 2 guards smoking, board, perfect opening. Team split, following her silent gestures. One suppressed shot softened. Another. 2 bodies slumped without sound. Approach to compound took precision, nerves, patience. They breached side entrance. Radio static soft. Sand skittering across stone. Rooms empty at first, too empty, like breath drawn before scream. Then footsteps deeper inside. Voices, arguing in Pashto. She recognized one tone. Her pulse leaped, then steadied into calm so cold it frightened her. Farid Kadir. The ghost had a voice. Alive. Here. They moved through halls painted with dim red emergency light. Shadows flickered like memories. Anna led them down stairwell into basement hold, heavy door, reinforced, guarded by 2 inside. She raised 2 fingers, 2 targets. Pointed to herself, taking both. Vance whispered through calm, "Nix, we breach together." She hesitated, a single heartbeat. "I go first," she breathed. Because she needed to see him. Needed to face what she ran from. Needed to know if redemption or ruin waited behind that door. Charge placed. Countdown silent in her head. 3, 2, 1. Door opened like a wound. Inside, a small room. 1 lantern, chains, and a figure sitting against wall, Whisper bruised but breathing. Eyes wide when she saw them, like light returning after long darkness. But Anna didn't see Whisper first. She saw the second figure. Smiling, calm, recognizing her. Farid Kadir. The man she swore she'd kill someday, or die trying. He stood slowly, hands raised, unarmed but dangerous with every breath. "Well," he said softly, voice smooth as poison. "Nix, I knew you'd come back, you always do." Her heartbeat was thunder. Her finger tightened. But something stopped her. In Whisper's lap under her arm, a small girl no older than 8, trembling, eyes too familiar, eyes she'd seen once before in a burning village. The girl she once failed to save. Alive. But alive with him. Emotion surged like tidal wave. Relief, guilt, fury, hope twisted into grief. She couldn't shoot, not now, not without risking child and hostage both. Kadir saw hesitation and smiled wider. "You've grown stronger," he murmured. "But tell me, Lieutenant, are you strong enough not to pull the trigger?" A trap, psychological, perfect. Vance whispered through radio, "Take the shot." She didn't. She couldn't. Not yet. Because sometimes strength is not the bullet you fire, but the one you hold back. The room waited, breathing with them. Ghosts returned, but so did choices. And this time she would not run. For a moment no one breathed. Not her team behind her, not Whisper trembling in chains, not even the little girl pressed into her side, wide-eyed, terrified, alive. Anna felt her heartbeat anchor itself deep, slow, heavy, like her chest had become a vault and something inside was trying to claw its way out. Farid Kadir tilted his head, watching her with unsettling calm, like prey examining the hunter instead of the other way around. His beard was streaked with gray now, eyes darker, wiser, crueler. A ghost made of memory and malice. "So," he said softly, voice like a hand sliding a blade across silk, "the lioness returns to the den she fled." Anna didn't move her rifle, didn't blink, but something inside her cracked, not outwardly, but deep, old scar tissue splitting. She remembered that village. She remembered fire. The girl screaming for her mother, Anna dragging her out as rounds snapped overhead. She got the girl out almost, but smoke swallowed their path. Chaos drowned their exit. In the confusion she lost her. One moment a small hand clutched hers, next moment empty air. For years she carried that hand like a phantom. Now the child stood here, in Kadir's possession. Not dead. Alive but not free. Vance whispered through comms, voice strained. "Nix, hostage extraction is priority, we have to move." But movement now meant bullets. Bullets meant blood. This room was a matchbox soaked in gasoline. One wrong spark would ignite catastrophe. Kadir saw it all in her eyes and smiled with quiet victory. "You're thinking like a soldier," he murmured, "not like a savior." Anna's jaw tightened. The muzzle of her rifle didn't waver, but her breath trembled barely, like a single loose leaf in winter wind. "Let the girl go," she said. He chuckled. "Why would I give up my shield? She adores me, don't you, little one?" The child flinched but nodded, desperate to avoid punishment. Anna felt it like a punch. Trauma teaches obedience. Fear teaches silence. She saw herself in that silence, a much younger version, watching father leave for deployment, promising to return. Promises didn't always survive war. Kadir stepped forward an inch. Not enough to threaten, just enough to test. One wrong twitch and Vance would command breach, but breach meant death. Anna's voice stayed calm, too calm. "Farid, this ends tonight." His eyes brightened. "Yes," he whispered, "but the question is how." He gestured slowly to Whisper, frail and bleeding. "Your precious asset is alive because I chose not to break her. I kept her breathing for exactly this moment. So you would come." He wanted her here, needed her here. This was personal, not strategic. He recognized her then. Even back in that village, he remembered the girl who became the woman before him. A twisted reunion. Her team held position behind her, restrained only by her stillness. Warriors know when their leader is holding a thread too thin to yank. Kadir raised his hand slightly, theatrically. "So tell me, Lieutenant, do we trade your life for theirs?" Vance spoke sharply in her ear, "Negative. Do not engage. We can negotiate fallback." On a muted comm channel, with one silent tap of her glove. She needed to think without noise. This wasn't just an extraction. This was reckoning. She exhaled slowly, letting the room tighten around her heartbeat. "What do you want?" Kadir's smile softened, becoming something worse, familiar. "I want what every wounded man wants, Anna. I want history rewritten." He stepped closer, too close, and she didn't step back. "I want you to feel what I felt when your people burned my world, when your bullets killed my brother, when you took everything and walked away with medals." Her voice barely shook. "Your brother shot civilians. And America bombed my home." No volume, no screaming rage, just cold philosophy spoken in room that smelled of rust and old sorrow. War had two sides. Both believed they were right, both bled the same. Whisper sobbed quietly behind him, clutching the little girl as if her body alone could shield her. Anna locked eyes with the child, and the child stared back like she recognized something in Anna's face too. Maybe she saw safety, maybe hope, or maybe ghosts know each other. Anna shifted her stance half an inch, lowering barrel toward Kadyr's shoulder, non-lethal. He noticed. "You won't shoot," he said quietly. "Not with the girl here, you're too controlled, too moral." He spoke word like insult and compliment fused. She breathed out one measured exhale. "Maybe you're right." Then she did something he didn't expect. She holstered her rifle. Her team stiffened, hands tightened on triggers. Vance, still muted, would be cursing. But she wasn't surrendering. She was changing the battlefield. "You want to settle history," she said. "Then settle it with me, 1-to-1, no hostages." Kadir paused, long and calculating. Sandstorm howled outside like world itself held breath. The girl whimpered, clutching Whisper tighter. His eyes flicked to the team behind her, disciplined, ready. To metal tripod near wall with chains. To exits, to windowless concrete, evaluating probability, control, ego, pride. Finally, he nodded once. "You step inside," he said, pointing to open center of room. "Weapons down, you fight me as you fought your Marines. No guns, no team, just you and me, woman to man. Winner decides who walks out." Anna didn't flinch. "The girl and Whisper walk if I win." His smile sharpened. "If you win." "And if I lose?" she asked, though she already knew. He leaned close enough she could smell stale tea and gun oil on his coat. "You become mine, alive." Her team shifted, muscles tightening like bowstrings drawn. They couldn't intervene, not without killing hostages, not without igniting massacre, but Anna didn't give them a chance to object. She stepped forward. Because some fights can't be avoided. Some must be faced. She unstrapped her holster, set her rifle gently on ground, then her pistol, then father's knife last, like laying a piece of heart on concrete. Every small sound echoed, metal kissing floor like goodbye. Kadir removed his own weapon, a curved blade, and rolled sleeves up slowly with almost ceremonial reverence. Two soldiers, two histories intertwined by violence, facing each other across concrete that smelled of old blood and broken promises. "Clear the room," she said quietly. Her team hesitated. Vance's voice cut through from calm. She unmuted now. "Nix, are you certain?" "No," she whispered, "honest, but necessary." He didn't like it, but he respected it. "Team, pull perimeter," he ordered. "We intervene only on green light or if she calls code black." Boots withdrew slowly, reluctantly, leaving only her, Kadir, Whisper, and the girl. Door closed, click, thud. Silence. Kadir took stance, fluid, predatory. Anna mirrored, calm, centered. Their eyes locked, one filled with vengeance, other with resolve. She thought of the Marines who tried to break her. She didn't crush them, she controlled them. She thought of her father. Restraint was strength. She thought of that girl years ago, now standing feet away, watching woman who once failed her prepare to fight for her again. Anna's voice came soft, fragile nearly, yet unshakable. "This time," she said, "I don't leave anyone behind." Kadir lunged first. He moved faster than she remembered, fury sharpened with age. His blade flashed, slicing air, aimed for her ribs. She sidestepped, took shallow cut across arm, sting blooming warm. She used momentum, grabbed his wrist, twisting, but he countered, elbow striking her cheek. Stars bloomed, blood-filled mouth. She staggered half-step, but feet stayed planted. "Ghosts don't fall easily." He smiled, bloodthirsty. "You're slower than the village." She wiped blood from lip with thumb, calm, cold. "No," she said, "just older, wiser." Then she attacked, not wild but surgical. Parry, evade, redirect. Palm strike to jaw, knee to his thigh, blade narrowly missing throat as she turned. She moved like she did in darkness with Marines, controlled, efficient. But he was stronger, brutal. Rage gives power, temporary but fierce. He slammed her into concrete wall, breath whooshed out, shoulder flared, knife tip grazed neck. Whisper gasped, the child cried softly. Anna looked into girl's eyes, saw fear. Saw trust, fragile as glass. Something inside her ignited like wildfire. She twisted hip, trapping his arm. Control, leverage, technique. She used his momentum, flipping him over her shoulder, hard impact cracking floor. He rolled fast, animal quick, back on feet, blood dripping from nose. He charged again. She met him not with strength, with gravity. Redirected, trapped wrist. And like Cole's bone under her hand nights ago, crack. Kadir screamed. Knife fell. Fight changed. Pain stripped arrogance. Now survival drove him. He swung with good arms, sloppy, desperate. She ducked, slammed elbow to temple. He fell to knees. She could end him now. Snap neck, crush windpipe. Knife lay inches away. Kill or capture. A soldier's eternal choice. The child watched, tears shaking. Whisper held her tight, eyes pleading. Anna felt it, the weight of her father's voice, Vance's lesson. Strength isn't destruction. Strength is control. She placed knee to Kadir's back, arm twisted behind him. Pressure point pinned, immobilization hold precise. He roared, helpless. She grabbed father's knife, held it to his throat, steel-kissed skin. One order, she said, breath steady, release them. Kadir spat blood. Or what, you kill me, become what I am. Her voice dropped into cold truth. No, I don't need to kill you. Your life ends one way, your power ends another. She cut the rope around Whisper instead. The girl stumbled into her arms. Not fear, trust. Anna held her, feeling small heartbeat against chest, like forgiveness returned in pulse form. Something inside her broke open, not like shattering glass, but like a door finally unlocked. Kadir screamed curses as she tied his hands with same chains that once held hostages. She pressed calm. Package recovered, she said. Both send team, we extract. Vance exhaled heavy, like he'd been holding breath entire time. Copy Nix, moving. Boots thundered back in. Team secured Kadir, retrieved Whisper, carried child carefully like treasure found in ashes. As they ascended stairwell, storm howled louder outside. Chopper extraction window shrinking fast, but Anna paused one last moment looking back at cell. Ghosts didn't disappear, but some learned to bow. The little girl whispered against her shoulder, barely audible. Did you come back for me? Anna swallowed, emotion thick. Yes, she said, I came back. Even if late, even if imperfect, she came back. Outside gunfire erupted, reinforcements arriving. Sand storm whipping like desert screaming war. Lights flashing, voices shouting. Enemy fighters spilling into courtyard. Hit wrong moment, extraction turning chaos. They ran. Chopper rotors spun, wind roaring, bullets snapping through dust. Ops team returning fire, muzzle flashes strobing night. Vance pulled Whisper aboard. Miller shielded child with his own body as rounds peppered tail fin. Anna turned once more, Kadir being loaded separately under heavy guard. He glared at her through storm, hatred burning. But underneath, respect twisted like thorn. She didn't kill him. And somehow that cut deeper. She boarded last, bullets chasing her heels. One grazing shoulder, pain sharp, door slammed shut. Bird lifted skyward, sand swallowing ground beneath. As base shrank below, child curled into her chest, fingers gripping shirt. Whisper sobbing relief. Vance watching Anna with quiet, stern pride. Wind roared. Mission half won. War far from over. But tonight she saved what she once lost. Not with rage, with restraint. Not with death, with control. Still, as Chopper cut through storm, she closed eyes. Because victory doesn't silence ghosts. It only teaches them new language. The chopper rattled like a metal heart running too fast. Sandstorm wrapped around it like a giant trying to pull it from the sky. Every gust made the hull groan. Inside, Anna sat against the fuselage, one hand gripping the seat, the other wrapped around the trembling child. Whisper leaned against Vance, shaking so hard her teeth chattered. Fear doesn't leave quietly, it claws its way out. Miller dropped into the seat across from Anna, helmet dented from shrapnel that missed his skull by inches. His hands trembled, not from cold, from the weight of what they'd survived. Even cold dies, and Roar never looked at her with eyes like Miller did now. Not fear. Not awe. Something heavier, trust. The storm roared so loudly it swallowed thought. Anna stared out the open side door, seeing nothing but howling brown darkness. No horizon, no sky, just chaos. She whispered to the girl in her lap, "You're safe now, I promise." The girl lifted her small face, streaked with dust and tears. She spoke with voice thin as paper. "You came back." Anna's throat tightened. "I should have come sooner." No absolution came. Children forgive without understanding. Adults forgive without forgetting. The girl clung to her harder, as if Anna were anchor and world still an ocean trying to claim her. Minutes later, the storm thinned enough for the base to appear, a distant constellation of lights through grit. Relief washed through cabin. Whisper exhaled like air returning to a drowning victim. Touchdown was rough. Wheels hit tarmac, skidding before stabilizing. Crew rushed out. Medics pulled Whisper away gently, securing IV, checking vitals. Anna rose to her feet with the child still holding tight to neck and refused to let go. A nurse reached for her. The child squeezed tighter, panicked, pleading silent. "It's okay," Anna murmured. "She stays with me." Nurse hesitated, looked at Vance. He nodded once. In war, some decisions don't need paperwork. They walked across pad under floodlights. Wind carried sand across concrete like ghosts sweeping past boots. Soldiers watched them return, eyes widening at hostage, girl and caddier restrained behind another team. Whispers began instantly. Rumor is the fastest thing in war zones. "Nix brought a kid back." She fought caddier hand to hand. "No gun, just a knife." "She saved the child he took years ago." "She didn't kill him, that's power." Respect tastes bittersweet when bought with blood. Inside medical tent, Whisper was stabilized. The girl refused bed unless Anna stood beside her. She held Anna's hand like lifeline, and maybe she was. Vance approached quietly, folding arms with gravity carved into posture. "You disobeyed direct engagement protocol," he said. Anna nodded. No excuse, no apology, just truth. "I evaluated live threats and chose safest course." He studied her, long, unreadable, an engaged warlord with no weapons. He was using the girl. Force risked her life. "That wasn't the mission," he murmured. Anna's jaw tightened. "Maybe missions evolve on contact." Silence stretched. Then unexpected. "You saved them both." He stepped closer, voice low. "Most operators would have killed him just to close the chapter." Anna exhaled slow. "Killing him wouldn't free me." Vance's eyes softened, not pity, understanding. "You're not broken, Lieutenant," he said. "You're dangerous because you feel. That's what keeps you human." She didn't reply. She tightened grip around the little hand in hers and felt something shifting inside, like guilt lifting but leaving scar behind. Scars don't vanish. They harden, protect, remind. 2 days later, command summoned her for debrief. Conference room cold. Flags hung stiff behind brass and rank. Officers watched her like specimen, analyzing not body but mind. Colonel Jefferson leaned forward. "You breached negotiation. You confronted target one-on-one. You risked asset and team." Anna didn't flinch. I prevented civilian casualty. He tapped pen. You could have neutralized target. I didn't need to kill him, she answered. Control is cleaner than death. A younger major scoffed lightly. Control? Kadir has killed hundreds. Some demons must be put down. Anna met his eyes. I'm not judge or executioner, I'm extractor. Mission was rescue, not revenge. Jefferson studied her as if weighing soul. Your report mentions the child. You believe she is the same girl from the village. Yes, Anna replied, voice steady but heart loud. And I will not let her go back to him or any system that loses her. The major frowned. She's not your responsibility. Anna's eyes sharpened, something fierce but quiet. She's someone's responsibility, and right now that's mine. Jefferson leaned back, silence heavy enough to bruise. Finally, he nodded. Understood. Temporary guardianship approved until transfer to state. Keep her on base. She trusts you, use it. The meeting shifted tone, not punishment, observation. She was no longer anomaly. She was asset, but human assets come with complications. After dismissal, she walked outside under sun too bright after dark missions. The girl waited where she left her, sitting on crate with knees hugged to chest. When Anna approached, the child stood and slipped hand into hers without hesitation, as if she belonged there. Anna didn't pull away. Days passed, a strange peace settling like dust after battle. The child barely spoke, but she followed Anna everywhere, mess hall, gym, armory, like shadow learning shape. Marines who once sneered now stepped aside, nodding, respectful. Funny how quickly world changes when truth bruises ego. Some whispered legend, others whispered gratitude. Miller trained harder than anyone, guilt turning into discipline. He ran drills until he collapsed. Anna found him once in empty gym, pushing through exhaustion like redemption was measurable in reps. You don't have to punish yourself, she said. He breathed heavy, sweat dripping. I'm earning my place. She offered quiet nod, approval rarer than medals. One evening at sunset, she sat by the fence with child beside her. Sky burned orange, wind calm for once. The little girl finally spoke more than a whisper. What's your name? Anna, she answered gently, and yours? The girl hesitated, as if speaking it could break something fragile. Layla, she murmured. Anna repeated softly, Layla. A name like prayer, like closure. The girl leaned her head against Anna's arm, trusting, warm, small. Anna swallowed thick emotion she hadn't allowed in years. Connection, responsibility, care, fear of failing again, fear of losing again. Layla whispered, barely audible, are you staying? A question heavy as mountains. Warriors never promise permanence, war breaks promises. But she answered honestly, I'll stay as long as you need me. Layla nodded, small but infinite. Night settled, base quiet, lights dim, most slept. But Anna couldn't. She sat on cot, knife in hand, father's gift, mission companion, symbol of restraint and violence both. She sharpened it slowly, ritual calming hands but not heart. Outside wind rustled tense, generator hummed, but somewhere under noise she heard it footsteps, soft, approaching. She looked up. Layla stood in doorway, thin blanket clutched. I had a bad dream, she whispered. Anna's stern warrior mask slipped a fraction. Come here. Layla climbed onto cot, curling next to her, trusting completely. Anna laid knife aside, wrapped arm around small shoulders, and for first time in years, let someone lean on her without flinching. Layla's breathing steadied slowly. Sleep returned like fragile dawn. Anna didn't sleep. She stared at ceiling thinking. What happens when mission ends? When bureaucrats arrive? When she is taken from my watch? Fear tasted sharper than adrenaline. Losing Layla again would break something she might not rebuild. Somewhere outside, Kadir sat in military custody, caged but living. His eyes still held knowledge. He knew Anna came for more than mission. He knew bond formed, and bonds are weaknesses enemy can exploit. A message arrived next morning, encrypted, urgent. Kadir escaped during transfer. Her blood ran cold. Layla clung to her side at breakfast, unaware of storm brewing. Soldiers talked low, tense. Commands scrambled. An escape meant help inside perimeter. Someone betrayed them. Vance approached Anna with rare worry in gaze. "This isn't over." Anna looked down at Layla, her small hand in hers. "No," she whispered, "it's just beginning." Because saving someone once is victory. Saving them twice is war. And this war had just come home. The base at sunrise felt wrong. Too quiet, too still. Soldiers moved like ghosts, eyes scanning corners, fingers too close to triggers. Word of Kadir's escape traveled faster than truth, and truth alone was terrifying. He didn't escape alone. Someone helped him. Inside the TOC, radios crackled with tense voices. Commanders shouted orders, maps updated with red markers crawling across screens. Gates locked, patrols doubled. A manhunt in their own home. Anna sat with Layla in the corner, small hands gripping her sleeve. Layla sensed storm without understanding why. Children feel danger through skin. Vance stepped close, voice low. "We believe Kadir had inside help, maybe more than one. He didn't vanish, he walked out. Someone opened the door." Anna's jaw locked. Why revenge money? Maybe neither. Vance's eyes hardened. Maybe to get her. Layla pressed her face into Anna's side, as if his words could reach her. Anna leaned down, whispered gently, "You're safe with me." But safety is fragile, thin as paper, one spark away from ash. 2 hours later, alarm shattered quiet. Breach at motor pool, shots fired, casualty reported. Anna grabbed gear with reflex faster than fear. She secured Layla behind overturned desk, eyes level, voice calm like command. "Stay here, don't move, I'll come back." Layla's voice cracked, "Promise." Anna paused. Promises are heavy, heavier than armor. "I promise." She slipped an extra sidearm under crate within Layla's reach. Hidden, last resort faith. Then she ran. The base was chaos, smoke rising from burning Humvee, 2 Marines dragging wounded clear. Sirens howled. Shadows moved behind concrete barriers. Gunfire snapped like angry teeth. Anna sprinted low, sliding behind sandbags. Miller joined her, rifle ready, sweat cutting dirt across brow. "Comm say intruders have hostage," Miller said. "Who?" she asked, though dread knew. He swallowed, "A child." Anna's blood iced. She moved faster than reason, toward breach, toward gunfire, toward the thing she feared most. She turned corner and froze. Kadir stood in open yard. Not hidden, not fleeing. Waiting. Layla's small body was held tight in his arm, one arm locked across her shoulders, other hand gripping stolen pistol pressed to her temple. Layla didn't cry, just trembled, eyes locked on Anna with desperate hope. This wasn't a kidnapping. This was a message. His voice carried across wind, steady and venom-soft. "You should have killed me when you had the chance." Anna stepped forward slowly, heart thundering against sternum like fists pounding locked door. "Let her go," she said. He smiled. "You care for her, that makes you weak." Anna shook her head. "No, it makes me dangerous." They stared, desert silent, except crackle of burning rubber. Kadir shifted pistol closer to Layla's temple. The small girl squeezed eyes shut. Time slowed, heartbeat, breath, world turning thick like honey. Kadir spoke soft enough only Anna heard. "You failed her once, you'll fail again, some ghost you cannot save." Anna's voice trembled not with fear, but fury deep as ocean trench. "I failed her once, never twice." Her hand hovered near holster, not touching, not threatening. A subtle posture of readiness Kadir misread as hesitation. Behind her, Miller positioned on flank taking aim. He waited for signal, any signal. But Kadir pressed gun harder. One move and she dies. Choose, Lieutenant. Holster or holster your soul. Options collapsed like dying stars. Negotiation wouldn't work. Quick draw risked Layla's life. Sniper unavailable, time gone. Then Anna noticed something. Kadir's grip, dominant arm, was heavily bandaged, broken from fight in basement. Pressure on that wrist hurt him. Gun hand shaking imperceptibly. Weakness, opportunity. Small window with cost attached. She needed him to shift just 1 inch. Distract him, move his attention off trigger. So she spoke the one truth sharper than bullets. I don't hate you, Farid. That stunned him, eyes flicked confusion. She continued, soft and brutal, you killed to fill emptiness. I fight to prevent it. That's why you lost the girl the first time. She was never yours. He snarled, wounded ego louder than pain. The gun drifted half-inch away from Layla's head as anger redirected. That was the inch she needed. Anna moved. Not rushed, not wild. Precise, surgical, absolute. She stepped forward, drawing pistol in one fluid blur. At same moment, Miller fired intentionally not at Kadir, but at ground near his foot, forcing instinctive flinch. Kadir jerked reflexively, aiming weapon aside for a heartbeat. Anna fired first. One shot clean. Not kill. Shoulder, his weapon arm exploded back, tendons severing capability. He screamed, dropping gun. Layla stumbled free, running before thinking, straight into Anna's arms with a sob that broke something human in every soldier watching. Kadir dropped to knees, clutching wound, blood painting sand. Rage twisted his face, not anger at pain, but at losing control again to the woman he underestimated twice. He reached for knife strapped at boot, last desperate move. Anna didn't shoot again. She walked forward, calm as winter tide. She drew father's knife, blade glinting like memory. Kadir froze, recognizing irony too poetic for war. She held blade at his throat. He stared up, waiting for death. You can kill me, he hissed, voice breaking. Finish your revenge. Anna looked at Layla trembling behind her leg, watching, learning, becoming. Anna lowered knife slowly. No, she whispered, killing you ends nothing. Living with loss ends everything. His eyes shook, a hate fracturing into something like disbelief, even grief twisted beneath scarred pride. She turned to MPs running toward scene. Take him alive, she ordered. Locked, chained, no mercy but alive. They cuffed him hard, dragging him through dust. Anna lifted Layla into arms. The child clung to neck, crying into collar. Miller lowered rifle, hands shaking not from combat, but witnessing control sharper than any bullet. Vance arrived seconds later, breath rough, eyes burning, pride hidden behind stern soldier mask. You didn't kill him, he said. Anna nodded, voice raw. It wouldn't heal what was broken. Vance exhaled slow. You did more than win. You changed what winning means. She didn't feel like victor. She felt like survivor. Different things, often confused. Later, medical tent quiet. Anna sat beside sleeping Layla, stroking hair gently, heart finally slowing. Whisper recovered in next cot, alive, free, grateful beyond words. War raged elsewhere in world, but here, for a moment there was peace. Vance entered quietly, stood beside her. You going to adopt her? He asked with dry half-smile. Anna looked down at Layla, small, brave, resilient. I don't know, she said honestly, but I know one thing. She brushed hair from girl's forehead, with hand gentler than battlefield would ever understand. She will never be left alone again. Vance nodded, satisfied. Outside, desert wind hummed like lullaby instead of war cry. Soldiers tell stories long after battles. In Chow lines under tents over old scars, and they told one more now. Not of a woman who beat men, not of a seal who took down warlord, but of a soldier who chose restraint over revenge, mercy over murder, strength over ego. Whispers faded into legend. Nyx, goddess of night, who fought darkness with discipline, not rage. The kind of warrior war rarely makes, and rarer still lets keep her humanity. In quiet, Anna picked up her father's knife, stared at reflection of eyes older now, softer maybe. She slid it slowly into sheath, not weapon but memory. Some battles end in gunfire. Some end in silence. And some, the hardest, end in forgiveness you give yourself. The camera of life panned out a cot, a child sleeping safe, a soldier awake guarding her. No music, no applause, just breath and heartbeat and purpose. Because sometimes dignity doesn't shout. Sometimes dignity doesn't speak. It simply acts.